All right. This is going to be sort of a tutorial on, getting to the field experience packet. So you want to log into eLearning Commons and, log into this class. Find the field experience folder. And what you'll see here is you'll see field experience website, field experience packet, some forms. So there's a hard copy of the packet right here that you can go ahead and look through. If you want to print one out, you can. But that has a lot of the same information that's here at the website. And the website has a lot of important links that you can use, so I would suggest using the website. Dr. Dots took a lot of time and effort to set this up for all of us, so that was really nice of him to do. So what you do is click on the website, and what you'll see is this will come up, and this is for 2110 and 2120. It gives you all of the things that you need to know. The purpose, of course, is important to find out. And for 2110, investigating critical and contemporary issues in education, observations and analyses of critical education issues influencing the social and political contexts of educational settings in Georgia and the United States. Students examine the teaching profession, the meaning of education, and schooling in a diverse culture, and the moral and ethical responsibilities of teaching. So notice that it says diverse culture. So really the goal of this is to put you in a setting similar to one that you might enter as a beginning teacher. I know that some of you are not necessarily in the program to be teachers. I know some of you are in the program to be speech pathology people or from other majors as well. But just understand that really one of the goals of this whole field experience is to put you with others in a diverse setting so that you can understand what that's like. Many of us grew up in situations where we weren't really exposed to a diverse setting. And that's one of the things that we're going to learn about in this class, but it really is important. And diverse can mean lots of different things. It can mean ethnically, diverse. It can mean diverse as in you're working with special ed students. It can be diverse in that you're working with, I don't know, different religious organizations that you're not used to or something like that. So I know that this being an online class, I do understand that it can change. You can't necessarily get to some of the venues that are here because here's the venues and placement sites. And these have all been approved by the College of Education as, acceptable places for you to go ahead and do this 10 hours of tutoring or mentoring. But I know that as an online course that some of you are, taking this class and are not close. So, just get it approved by me. If it's not on this list, just email me and tell me what you're going to be doing at the place, that who will be sort of in charge of. You can go to a local school and see if there's a teacher that you can work with or something like that. And I understand that if you, I'm open to allowing you to do this in just about, any placement that you can find in a school setting or a tutoring, mentoring type setting. A couple things that I don't think would be approved and that they're not looking for are sort of, just helping your old cheerleading coach or something like that. You've already, I guess, done that sometimes, if that's something that you've already experienced, if you were a cheerleader and you already went through that. Helping your roommate with his Spanish homework is certainly not acceptable. I had a student try to do that once. So if you're unsure about the placement, just please email me and get it approved if it's not on this pre-approved list. Okay, so a couple of the places I think that people have gone in the past. I know Oasis. This is a really interesting placement. It's run by some Catholic nuns, and it's in a I think a predominantly Latino community. Yes, in Pinewood community. And they're very organized here. And in fact, there are some forms that you have to submit with the final report. One of the forms is not even required when you go to the Oasis because they actually record it and send us the forms. So Oasis is a really good option. I know that I've read many, many, many field experience reports, and I can't tell you, I can't remember one student who didn't get something out of their placement at Oasis. All right, what's another one? Let's see. Let's go back to the venues. Some other ones that I know are local: the Athens YMCA, the let's see here, the Thomas Lay after school program is also one that I think would be really valuable, and I believe it's very easy to get to within Athens. So, and they're always open to having, you know, students come and volunteer there. So that's another option. But there are many, many options. Okay, so you go ahead, find your venue. If it's not on this list, make sure it's approved by me, and then go ahead and follow these field experience instructions. Okay. Please read through all of this. I'm just trying to go over some of the high points and some of the things that you'll, you know, to guide you through some of this. Please make sure you read all of it. It's very important. I have students that ask me, you know, questions, and I'm here to help, but please don't ask me questions if you've not even looked at the different, you know, instructions and sites and the forms. Once you've looked at it all and you still have a question, then please feel free to ask. But please make sure you go through and you read all of this. But you're essentially going to develop a 1,000 word report. So it's basically 4 pages, you know, 250 words in a 12-point font, double-spaced, is generally, you know, 1 page when you're talking in academic work. So be sure to use the headings for A, B, C, and D right down here. So you'll have a description. Make sure you put a heading that this is A, my description. Underline it, bold it, make sure it stands out so I know this is your description of your field experience. In B, you know, again, bold it, underline it, whatever. Make sure I know that this is your activities section. Okay, so make sure you use the headings. I will take points off without the headings because I have to grade many, many of these, and it's so much easier to scan through and to read the sections if I know where you know, each of your sections is. The key issues and the D, your own personal reflection. Make sure in each of these sections that you include references to material from the course. I want at least 3 examples in your key issues and concerns section that reflect on things that you've learned, readings, topics we've discussed, so forth. And I want you to cite them in APA. I think there's a part here that says, here it is, use proper citation and referencing, check with your instructor. Well, education uses APA, so just you're going to have to learn how to use APA for my papers, for everything, pretty much in education. So just, you know, get used to that, and if you need help, there'll be more help on that later. But anyway, make sure that section C and D you definitely reflect, again, in relation to what you've learned in the class. And, you know, there's more in the rubric and in the packet, in the actual hard copy packet, if you want to look at that. A and B, for those of you who are taking 2110 and 2120, they can be, you can do your placement at the same venue. Okay, you can do your hours at the same venue, but you have to do 10 for my class and then 10 for 2120. So there have to be then 20 hours, all right? So you can do it at the same place. You just must do it, you know, 10 separate hours for me and 10 separate hours for the other class. Okay, let's see. That's the instructions. Here's an important link, the Student Service Office forms. Now, this is not really through me at all, but you have to do it. You need to go here to this link, okay? And you need to get the tort liability form. And let's see, it's coming up, the field experience. If you scroll down, here you go. You need this ARRI, which is a records release of information form, and then this tort liability form. The records release form is essentially if, let's say you go to Oasis and you decide you want to volunteer there. Well, they might want to check and make sure, hey, is this person truly a student at UGA? We have to then have permission to release information about you to them and say, yes, they are enrolled. So that's, I think, essentially what that form is, but you can read it. The tort liability is another form that is about getting insurance. And there are many different places. You can either purchase this professional insurance, or you can waive the insurance, okay? And you have to turn these in. You have to get them signed and then scan them back in and turn them in. They won't accept any electronic signatures or anything like that. You can't just write your name on the line. You actually have to sign this and return it to the office of, let's see, down at the Office of Educational Field Experiences in 122 Adderhold. And what this is essentially doing is, I guess it's saying that if you were to do something, I guess, that you could be sued for, that you have liability insurance through one of these organizations. If you look up here, there's a couple different places. At SGAE, it's a student membership, and then S-Page. I mean, it really can't hurt. It costs something like under $10 to get this insurance. And it basically protects you in case a student accuses you of something, or a teacher accuses you of something in a classroom. You then have liability insurance through these organizations, and it's very inexpensive. And you only need to do it once per year, I believe. I think it covers you for all of these field experiences per year. So if you decide to do that, you can. If you know the person, let's say you're doing it, something, and you know the person, you know you're not going to need this, you want to go ahead and just do a waiver of the liability insurance, you still have to sign it. And I guess this protects UGA from, I don't know, anybody coming back to them for something that you've done, I suppose. But these are just standard forms that you have to fill out and get to the Office of Student Services at some point. Okay, so that's those forms. All right, let's see here. So again, there's a grading rubric here that you can use, but this is the website. Let's go back and I'll show you now the field experience just packet that you could also look at. Field experience packet. This is in a PDF form. It's about 19 pages, so if you want to print it out, you can. If you want to just kind of scroll through it and look at it, that's probably, something you can do as well. But this will give you all the same information that you can get at the website. It just depends on what you prefer. It gives you links, to go to the student services, but it gives you all the tutoring venues, all of that. But there's nothing you can click on here, so it's harder to get to, right? But it does give you one good thing that's here that isn't in the packet. Is it gives you a different type of it gives you a true rubric here, where it tells you exactly what we're looking for in each of the sections of your report. So please refer to this when you're actually writing the report. So again, if you wanted to actually just, print out page 18 of the packet, because this one is actually, pretty important when it comes to actually writing the report. Okay, and then back to the field experience. You can find these forms that I've put into, let's see here. Let me go back and show you in the content area. If you go back into the field experience module, the field experience forms, I've just created a link here that you can get to very quickly. These are some important forms. There are 3 of them you must turn in signed. You're going to have to print it out and sign it and fill it out and then scan it. This one is for the verification of where you're going to be. You're going to need a signature from your supervisor, all right, and the date and the title and that kind of thing. This is just a verification form. And then you'll need the honesty pledge. If you go back to field experience forms, here you have an honesty pledge. You also have a sign-off form, which shows you the different hours. You have to fill this out as well, okay, and then sign it. Now again, if you do OASIS, I think it's the sign-off form and the verification form you don't have to do, because they actually send me something electronically. They email me a report showing that you were there. So if you can do that at all, if you're interested at all, that's a good place to go. Okay, so here's your field experience information. There's a website, there's a packet, there's some forms. You don't really need to worry about those forms until you actually start showing up to your placement. Read through all of this information, okay? Make sure you understand it's 10 hours. It's 10 hours specifically for 2110. If you want to do your hours also for 2120, you can, but it's got to be an extra 10 hours. Another thing, it has to be voluntary. If you're paid as a tutor or, in a daycare or something like that, that really can't count. This really needs to be a voluntary experience. And again, we prefer that it be in a diverse setting. I know that's not always possible. So again, if it's not on the list of the venues that have already been approved, please email me and I can approve it for you. But I think that's it about the field experience. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. Email me if you need to. And, I hope that this was helpful.